glorify.
First week.
We glorify your holy name for the great things you have done into our life. Lord, as for now, we are going to begin our seminar. We acknowledge the presence of your Holy Spirit among us. May your Holy Spirit come and guide us, protect us, and give us knowledge and wisdom of understanding every concept so that we may be able to answer questions at the end of our last exam. We ask this prayer through Christ our Lord.
Amen.
Okay, thank you so much for the word of prayer, Mark. We want to welcome all the schools and all the teachers that are on the call. Thank you so much for keeping time, and thank you so much for being here with us. We know that very many other schools are still joining in, but we shall get started with our session. Allow me now to welcome our facilitator, Mr. Charles, to take us through the session. Mr. Charles, you're most welcome.
Good afternoon to all of us who are on this call. I want to thank you for responding positively in big numbers. I can see the number is almost to 70. These are schools. Thank you for picking interest in the online lessons. My name is Charles Mangeni. I'm a teacher. I have responded to this call to share the little that I know. This is just to prepare us for the forthcoming exams in October. We have been taught by our teachers, and I believe that we are remaining with either one or two topics to the end of the syllabus, to complete the syllabus. You must be covering your topic of transport. You must have done population in China, and therefore you are covering, and Africa, and therefore you are covering transport. To start off, I teach geography and I teach everywhere. That is why I'm here and I'm in your school today. On this call, we are going to be online for 2 hours. And I want to let you know that I cannot teach each and everything which you have covered in 4 years in only 2 hours. So the purpose of the call is just to guide us as we prepare for our mocks and for our final exams, to get to know and confirm that what we have done with our teachers, they are the correct things. You are just going to be hearing the same things from a different person. What is the paper composition of this?
Teacher Charles,
yes, sir.
on my side, your screen is still loading.
Oh, why? Let me check. Teacher Stephen, confirm with me if you can now see me. You can see the screen.
Not yet. That's saying that you have started screen sharing.
Screen sharing, yeah? But it is
You have
not.
started.
It is not showing.
Yes, it's not showing.
Sorry for that. Let me activate another gadget to see that we move, but we keep on the call. We are going to see the items in. We are going to see the elements of construct in this section A. Section B is optional. You choose from each part 1 and part 2, and you answer 4 items. This has been told to you by the teachers. Now, this is how a full standard paper is supposed to look like. It is made up of the element of construct 1, which is section A, and that is item 1 is always and should be map skills. Map skills, we look at earth rotation, weather and climate, natural vegetation, climate change, and the climatic regions. When you look at these elements of construct, and topics, it is a topic or element of construct taught in senior 1, senior 2, and senior 3. Climate change, for example, climatic regions, these are topics of senior 2. Natural vegetation, weather and climate, these are topics of senior 1. Earth rotation, topic of senior 1. And we have in there what we call map skills, which is taught in senior 1 and senior 3. That shows how important our notes and work of senior 1 and up to senior 3, how important they are. Then we have element of construct 2, which deals with the photograph skills. This part here, element of construct 2, which produces item 2, it deals with the utilization of natural resources. The chapters or topics in there, we have wildlife conservation and tourism, fishing, mining and manufacturing industries, forests, forestry, and forest resources. A photograph is given to you. We are going to go through, revise together, and guide you further on how to answer correctly and get the scores that you deserve. So this slide here is giving us section A of the paper, and the two parts. This is construct 1 produces item 1, and construct 2 produces item 2. They are both compulsory. Element of construct 3, it deals with chapters such as rocks, which is a chapter covered in senior 1, weathering, a chapter covered in senior 1, relief regions of East Africa and the relief features, a chapter covered in senior 1, senior 2, and senior 3. Drainage features, a chapter covered in senior 1 and senior 2. And the influence. Here, two numbers are set from this element of construct 3. And they form, this element of construct 3 forms section B, part 1. Two numbers are set from here, you choose one. We have element of construct 4, which deals with the transport, that is transport in East Africa, and in China. Trade in East Africa, and in China, and the rest of the world rather. Population of East Africa, population in Africa and in China. Now, this section here has got a component or an element known as statistics. Two numbers are set from here. This part here, element of construct, forms part 2 of section B, and you choose only one. The two numbers are both incorporated or set with statistics, and they are of the same level of difficulty or simplicity for that reason. I know all of us, wherever we are, this part here, we love it so much, but it has its own dynamics. God willing, we shall also have a say over it. Now, the slide here takes us to composition of the items. When you look at the standard unit paper, item 1, which is map skills, or what we call in schools map reading, where we use the map extract. We have map skills. There are two parts or sections of the item, part A and part B. But they can have Roman numeral 1 and Roman numeral 2, but they are supposed to be part A and B. There are reasons for that. However, you read the whole map. You read all the things that we are supposed to know with map reading. Photographic interpretation is also, it also comes with the two parts of the tasks, part A and part B, but they can put part A Roman numeral 1, part A Roman numeral 2. They are supposed to be only 2, and there is a reason for that. You answer all of them. Now, I have used the word map skills, photograph skills, map use, photograph use. They have their own dynamics, which we are going to see when we start looking at the map and we look at the photograph. This part here, which is section B, it is part 1. I said that this part here of section B, part 1, produces 2 items. And the 2 items are from physical geography. You can look at this part here. Those 2 numbers or items come from this part. This one's here: rocks, weathering, relief regions, drainage features, and here we have rocks, lakes, swamps, and coastal geomorphology. We have their influence. They produce 2 numbers which form the section B, part 1. You choose one. The 2 numbers are of the same level of difficulty. There is no dodging. There is no shortcut here. I am going to show you how to answer those items. I don't know the items, but the items that come from there, they have the same way of answering. Part 2 of section B, which deals with socio-economic geography, with the statistics. We said that there are 3 topics that produce items, these 2 items, these topics here: transport, communication, trade, population, and urbanization. The 3 topics are set alongside statistical data that you are supposed to manipulate and answer. You choose one, and they are of the same level of difficulty. They have the same scores. Demands from the tasks. What do we need to understand? We've been interfacing with the papers. You get a paper, and you are having 3 ticks on 1 point, 1 paragraph. What it calls for is knowing something, understanding it, and applying it in daily life. These responses, we call them high order responses for high order questions. And when and how do we apply these words? We apply them where they have used the word describe. They have told us we explain, we outline, mention or state, identify or illustrate. Now, once you see a question of describe or explain or outline, that question is a high order question that calls for the 3 levels. 1 paragraph, if you are describing, should have conceptual knowledge, conceptual understanding, and the application. That is why I was using these words here. Map skills, map use. Photograph skills, photograph use. These words they fit in this, they substitute these command words in the items. Where you see illustrate, illustration comes on item 1, photograph, item 1, map work, item 2, photograph, item 5 and 6 for part 2. When you are illustrating, you are going to be drawing something. Here also there can be a command word where they tell you, make a write-up. From this call, learn that when they tell you make a write-up means write an essay. Make a report that will be used. Equally, it means write an essay. But that essay should run, every paragraph should run through 3 levels. What we need to understand on MAPO skills, we need to have learned by this time how to read grid reference, the 4-figure and 6-figure, how to measure distance, direction and bearing, area, settlement patterns, how to identify settlement patterns, modern economic activities or land uses, problems and how to suggest the solutions on the map, drawing of the sketch map, how to describe relief, drainage, natural vegetation, and their economic importance. How to draw a cross-section. Remember that I have just talked of illustrate. And now this part here, drawing a cross-section and drawing a sketch map, you will see a word illustrate. So let us get to this part of explanation. We have said that you can look at problems, solutions. I'm showing you something general. Then from there, we are going to get a task, which we are going to use as a sample for better understanding. So here you can be told a question can be set, a scenario is set, or I've talked of a scenario. All these items here are set with a scenario or using a scenario. In that scenario, you are supposed to read, understand, and interpret the problem in that scenario, the challenge in that scenario. That challenge will, the tasks or the questions that you will be answering will be related to that challenge in the scenario. So there is no way you are going to answer a task or a question when you have not read the scenario. And even when you are answering, keep referring to the scenario. That scenario, when you are very keen, scenarios have got guidance to the answer that you're supposed to give. So the first thing you do, read the scenario, understand it, go and read the tasks, come back and read the scenario. So the scenarios will have these words here. And for that reason, they can tell you to describe the problems. To describe the problems. To explain the problems, we are looking at MAPO skills. And when they are telling you, describe, that will be on this part now. At this point here, MAPO use, they are telling you, describe the problems. Meaning that you must use the map to describe the problem. Or explain how an investor or your father can use the resources in the area identified on the map. So you must use the map. That is part B. For part A, after reading the scenario, they will task you, they will check your skills of map reading. This one is just a skill. Do you know? Do you understand how to use, how to play around with the map? Here you are applying. Let us take a look at this. When you are given to describe the problems or explain the problems or outline the problems, I'm just giving an example. A problem is not a problem, not until it becomes a problem. If a lion is somewhere in the area, that lion is not a problem, because some people will be seeing that lion for the first time and it will be a tourist attraction. But that lion can attack the goats in the area, or even the human beings around. When it attacks the property and destroys or kills, that is when it is a problem. A monkey is not a problem. It becomes a problem when it endangers man and his life and his property. That is when it becomes a problem. So when they tell you, explain the problem, you cannot give a problem without showing how it is a problem, the effect. And on a map, you must give the evidence why you are saying that problem is there, and where on the map that evidence is located. If for you were to say there is soil erosion, why do you say there is soil erosion, and how is soil erosion a problem? If you are saying the area experiences landslides, why do you say there are landslides, and how are these landslides a problem? So you give a problem, show how that problem is a problem by showing the effect, give the evidence to show that that problem is there, and on the map show us where this evidence is located. What can be the evidence on a map? On a map, the evidence can be in the form of a grid square, in the form of a name place of the feature, or direction where that evidence feature is located. That brings us to this now part here. The CK, the CU, and the AP. Now, when you come to this one, when you identify the problem, you know the problem. That is conceptual knowledge. Soil erosion, you know. How is it a problem? That is a conceptual understanding, the effect of the problem. Then the evidence and the location, they become now the application. You have used the map. This is the application. That is why we said there is a map or use. You read the evidence from the map. The same applies to if they have told you to explain or identify the economic activities. You will have to give the economic activity, give the evidence, and show the location where that evidence is located on the map. And I have said that the evidence, the location of the evidence can be a grid square 4-figure. I know you know this. Can be the name of the feature if the hill is known as Chamhunga Hill. You will write due to the presence of Chamhunga Hill. The evidence is Chamhunga Hill because it is on the map and you have located it. Keep writing your questions. You will raise them at the right time after the presentation of this item. Now, how many points are we supposed to give on part B here? On part B here, they have asked for the problems for economic activities. They have asked for all the land uses. They have whatever they ask on part B. That is a high order question. You are supposed to give not less than 7 points to get a score of 4 or 6 maximum mark. And we are looking at maximum mark, not less than 7 paragraphs. We turn to natural resources. Lately, you have come into contact with the questions in map work, map skills, which are telling you to explain, first of all, this part here, this slide in particular. It has 2 interesting things. These features here are natural resources. They can tell you to illustrate them on the map. That is now part A, map skills. They have given you the scenario. In that scenario, they have mentioned either the relief features, natural vegetation, or the water bodies, or they have just said natural resources. You can look at the slide. I have generalized them as natural resources. So even if they have not outlined, it is up to you to know that when they talk of natural resources, they are looking at God-given potentials that exist on their own that man can use for his satisfaction. And they are in 3 categories. This is now coming from the first lesson of Senior 1, Introduction to Geography. From the definition of geography, the study of man and his environment, the relationship between man and his environment, you looked at branches of geography, where you said physical geography and human geography. And now when you look at this slide, it is giving us natural resources, which are the physical components that make up the physical geography. Under natural resources, we have resources that fall in the category of relief. You can call them hills or highlands, broad valleys, gentle slopes, craters, we have escarpments, we have steep slopes, we have all of them ridges. They are relief features and they are natural resources. Man can use them. So we need to know how the relief features appear on the map by the help of the contours. We can mark and name them. But we can also think through to understand how man can use them. For example, in a broad valley, what can man do? On hills, how can they be important to man? Natural vegetation. They are also part of natural resources. And on a map, they appear as forests, thickets, papyrus vegetation, scrubs, woodland, mangrove. You need to look at the map on the key of the map and see the symbol that interpret these features of natural vegetation. I repeat, you look at the key of the map extract and you identify the symbol for each vegetation type here. I'm not compromising. If you interchange these things, you lose marks. Then you need also to think through in your groups at school. You ask yourself, how can man utilize these resources? If you have a forest, which economic activity can you do? We can do wildlife conservation in the forest to promote tourism, for example. You can do activities like zip lining, especially urban students, they know this. Some of us will grow up not knowing, but it's an activity that you can do. In this forest here, you can stay all woodland, you can do herbal medicine making. Now they have asked you in part B to explain how man can utilize the resources. If it is how man can utilize the resources, it is general. You are going to look at how he uses the three components. Water bodies in there on the map, the natural vegetation, the relief. But also the examiner, UNEB, can decide to look at natural vegetation and they say, you explain how man can use natural vegetation located in the area or found in the area on the map. So you have Samsung, the one using Samsung, I am going to put you off from this call. You should stop writing on the slides. The one using Samsung, okay, we can continue.
Mr. Charles,
Yes, sir.
maybe let us first disable someone
Surely.
to from annotating. Like up
Yes.
there on where you are seeing the participants up, there are some 3 dots.
Yes.
Have you been able to see them? Then we go to disable.
Disable annotation.
Yes. Then we can first get that pane for annotation, and then maybe we first clean our screen. There is an eraser.
Please let us behave.
Perfect.
Okay. Sorry for that. Now, as I explain this, how to use this, remember that part A is going to task us to illustrate or to name the features on a diagram. They can just tell you on a diagram. That is part A, map skills. They have not told you mark A, B, C, D like the old curriculum was. No. They give you the map, they give you the scenario. In that scenario, they will tell you what to put. They can even, from senior 1 geography, we learned that geography has got 2 branches. In the scenario, they can coin something and they tell you the human geography or human environment. And they tell you illustrate the landscape sketch of the area and show the human geography. So if it is human geography, definitely we are not interested in the physical. So you are going only to draw, mark, and label the human geography. But I'm trying to break down the physical geography. Then we shall go to the human geography. Now, here, I have told you that understand how the relief features appear on the map by the help of the contours. Understand natural vegetation, how it appears on the map by looking at the symbols on the key of the map, column 3 of the key of the map. Then we have water bodies. Water bodies can be permanent swamps. Now on the map, on the key, you will not see permanent swamps. But where you have papyrus swamps, those are the permanent swamps. Then we have seasonal swamps. A lake can be included if the area has got a lake. Rivers and streams are also. The examiner can pick interest to ask you how man can use these water bodies in the area. That is now application. We shall get back to this slide after. Now there is this part here where we are talking of landscape sketch. Landscape sketching is when we say landscape sketch. Landscape here calls for 2 things: a sketch map or a cross section. Landscape sketch can be a sketch map or a cross section. What do we need when we are drawing a sketch map? We need an accurate title. And what is the accurate title? It should, because the task is telling you illustrate the landscape sketch of the area and show the physical environment. I have just finished. The physical environment is here. Show the physical environment. You are going to mark and name these features. But they have told you illustrate a landscape sketch of the area, just generally, open. They have not given you the 2 points. It means that landscape sketch, they have told you to do a sketch map. And therefore, it is going to be a sketch map, not a landscape sketch. Not a landscape sketch. For you, you change, because we are saying if you have a book and you are writing, taking note, write that landscape sketch means either a sketch map or a cross section. And also write, if the question says on it mark and label or illustrate or show the physical features. You are supposed to write, mark and name the relief features, natural vegetation, and the water bodies, because they are the ones that form the physical environment. And that is what the examiner is interested in. If they said draw a landscape sketch of the area, and they have not given you the 2 points where to draw, then that one will be a sketch map. And therefore your title is supposed to read, a sketch map of the area of. Now, the map you are going to be using will be having a name. For example, if I tell you draw a landscape sketch of this area, you are going to tell me a sketch map of the area of Nakasongola. The name landscape sketch is substituted with the name of the illustration I'm drawing, which is a sketch map. And if I'm drawing a sketch map, which map am I using? So the name of the map must appear. And the features that I am going to show, or what will be included, showing the physical environment or physical features. The examiner, UNEB, can't tell you that mark and name ABCD. No, this is critical thinking. Can you understand when they say physical environment? So on this map, physical environment, I have a hill here, another hill is here, another hill is here. I don't mark only hills. There is a ridge here, there is a thicket here, there is scrub vegetation here, there is a stream, there is a seasonal swamp, another seasonal swamp. I am navigating through the 3 components of the physical environment: relief features, drainage features, natural vegetation. Okay. It should have a similar frame. Now here, the title, the frame, the compass rose, what we call the compass direction, and the key should be on the same page. Get a paper, a foolscap, write the title of the map you're using, a sketch map of the area of, put there Nakasongola, for example, showing, get a ruler, get a pencil, and draw a frame. The funniest thing with the experience we have, some of you get a pencil and you just join on the margin lines. You just join, you don't draw the frame. I can tell you, you will be wasting your time. It should be a frame that when I look at it, I see a pencil and 4 lines. The compass rose should be drawn outside the frame, not inside the frame. When you draw it inside the frame, you make the compass rose to be a feature, not an element of a good map. Now, here I said, use symbols. Use symbols the way they appear on the key of the map. Use symbols the way they appear on the key of the map. Don't interchange the symbols. And when you are marking the features, make sure that you mark the feature in its relative position and you write on it, not near it, but on that feature, you write on it. If it is a lake, write Lake Kwania, assuming it is lake, there is Lake Kwania. Don't write drainage feature. You draw a symbol, a line showing a river, then you write there, like you have drawn here. You have drawn this river Chibuye. Then you write there, drainage feature. Then a symbol of the seasonal swamp, you write there, drainage feature. No. If it is a symbol, we can see the symbol of a seasonal swamp. After putting this symbol of a seasonal swamp, write on it seasonal swamp. If that swamp has got a name, Chifulugunyu seasonal swamp, you also copy it from the map and write Chifulugunyu seasonal swamp. In the southeast here, in the southwest rather, in the corner here, we are having a papyrus swamp. You are going to draw the symbol of the papyrus swamp. Remember that a papyrus swamp is a permanent swamp, is a drainage feature. A seasonal swamp is a drainage feature. This river here is a drainage feature. Here you draw this symbol and you write there, papyrus swamp. If this papyrus swamp is having a local name, you also include the local name. Chabitakuri, assuming it is Chabitakuri, Chabitakuri, papyrus swamp. When you go to the key, only draw the symbol of the papyrus swamp and write there permanent swamp. You don't name on the key. You don't put the local name on the key. The local name is on the map. If you are marking the human environment and you have drawn this road here, go to the key and check this symbol here. Which kind of road is this? Then after marking, you write on it, loose surface road. You draw this one, bound surface road. You can see this road here is different from this one. They have different symbols. Put that into consideration. Don't change geography because we are saying map skills and map use. How many physical features, if they said mark and name the human, the physical environment or natural resources, they just tell you mark and name the natural resources. How many should we give or mark and name? Come here. At least have 3 relief features. Have 3 natural vegetation. Different. Have 3 water bodies. 3, 3, 3, 3, 9 features. If it is a human environment, how many should we give? Give almost all that you know. On this map, what am I going to give? I will give this road bound surface, loose surface. I look at this, there is no plantation. There is no plantation. So I can see settlements, these dots. I go anywhere where there are dots. I put the dots and I say settlement. If there is a forest anywhere, I will mark and I say forestry. If there is a plantation, I will put. If there is a factory, if there is a trading center, these are the land uses. Okay. That is part A, drawing a landscape sketch. We have said that a landscape sketch covers two illustrations. Either it is covering a sketch map or it is covering a cross section. What is this cross section? In the scenario to be given to draw a cross section, the scenario will give you the 2 points. You can't draw a sketch map between 2 points. But you need to be very careful with this sketch map because we have different types of sketch maps. We have sketch map of the area, which is general, and a partial sketch map, where they can tell you, draw a sketch map of the area, like this one here. East of Easting 30. East of Easting 30. And they have told you, Easting of Easting. This is an Easting line. And the east of this easting line is this side. So you are going to draw that one and up to there. This is the area they need. So you need to be very careful when you are reading the scenario. The scenario will direct you on what to do. Okay. For a cross section, the scenario will give you the 2 points where you are supposed to draw. It is also going to draw a landscape or illustrate the landscape sketch of the area between grid reference A and B. Once you see grid reference they have given you, then they are telling you to draw a cross section. When and how should we draw a cross section? A cross section should have a complete title. Remember, they are telling you illustrate a landscape. For you, after reading the 2 points, you realize that if I'm illustrating the landscape, this illustration here is of a cross section. So your title should be a cross section of the area of, put there the name of the map you are using, from grid reference A to grid reference showing. That is the first, a complete title. 2, you should have an accurate horizontal distance in that hole where you are. If the teacher told you move from this hole to the administration block, and that distance from that hole to the administration block is, for example, 5 kilometers. Then for you move from the hole to the administration block, then you say 10 meters, you will have failed. Or you move from the hole to the administration block and you say 3 kilometers, you will have failed. That is the horizontal distance, the point between the 2 points. The distance between the 2 points rather. So it must be accurate, not accurate just, but actual. 3, you must have an accurate and consistent vertical scale. I advise you at the Form 4s, the best vertical scale at our level is the vertical interval, the difference between the 2 contours. Just determine the vertical interval and use it as our vertical scale when you are drawing a cross section. And it must be shaded. You must shade. If you don't shade, you will get 0, 0. 2, we draw the horizontal cross section from the first point to the second point. For example, if you are in the dormitory and the head teacher or the teacher tells you, come here, go to the gate and come to the admin block. Then for you, from the dormitory, you go to the admin block, then you go to the gate. You will have moved in the opposite direction to the instruction. And so you will have failed. We draw from A to B, not from B to A. I have said that you must shade a cross section. shade a cross section. Read the scenario to understand. Is the task telling me to mark only relief features on the cross section? Is it telling me to mark the natural features or the physical features? If they are physical features, consider all of this between the 2 points. Or is it telling me to draw only the human environment? It is possible that the examiner may not be interested in the physical environment and only picks on the human environment. So, I have here a task which is saying using an illustration, help the stakeholders. Let us first read this task. For this item, use the East Africa 1 to 50,000, Uganda, Nakasongola map extract sheet 50/2 series Y, 732 edition 1, Uganda Surveys Department to respond to the tasks. Nakasongola is one of the least developed districts in Uganda. The area has distant social services, dominant subsistence agriculture, few improved access roads, few processing industries, and high level of poverty among the population. They are describing what is in Nakasongola. However, the area has a great potential for development because it has vast areas with a variety of relief features, drainage features, a variety of vegetation types, and climate with many characteristics. These resources have not been fully utilized to cause development in the area, and this has drawn concern from the local leaders, government, community development organizations, and development partners on how the livelihood of the people can be improved. A one-day capacity building workshop for the community and the various stakeholders has been organized at Wabinyonyi School at grade reference 415451 to discuss ways of improving people's life, and you are invited to attend. Task: use an illustration. Use an illustration. For some of us who were on the call from where we started, we said that when they tell you illustrate, they are telling you draw. Help the stakeholders of the workshop to understand the major relief features and man-made features along Northing, along Northing 45, and along Northing 45 between Eastings 34 and 43 in the area shown on the map. Now, when you look at this cannot be a sketch map. They have not told you whether we should illustrate a sketch map or a cross section, but because they have given us 2 points where this easting intersects with this northing, that is the first point. Where this easting 43 intersects with the northing 45, that is the second point. Now we are going to draw what? A cross section. And what are we going to put? Only relief features and the man-made features. Here they have told you what to put, because they help the stakeholders at the workshop to understand. So you are going to do a cross-section, you mark and name these features. That is when the stakeholders in the workshop will understand. We move on. Explain to the stakeholders how the natural vegetation of the area can be used to improve the livelihood of the people and reduce poverty. This is now MAPO use. This is MAPO skill. Do you have the skill of drawing a cross section? I've guided you. Our teachers have guided us. Now, when you look at this part here, it is a high order. Look at the command of the question. Is it explain? And if we are explaining, we need to know
something. So we need to know the natural vegetation. We need to know how we can use the natural vegetation. Now that is understanding. And because these are people of Nakasongola, which vegetation is there? Which type of vegetation? We have had here a chance. This is the vegetation on the map. You will be seeing a forest, a thicket, papyrus, scrub, woodland. How can you use those things if they are on the map? Now you come to this map. Say, now, I can see there are scrubs here. How can man use this? Livestock rearing. Because of the what? The scrubs that can provide the pasture. Where? Give us a grid square. That is now location. Give the vegetation type, give the economic activity that can be carried out, give the vegetation that will support that one, that economic activity, go ahead and locate it on the map. If it is not just vegetation, but they have said natural resources, what can man do with this seasonal swamp or this stream? Man can carry out irrigation farming because of river Chibuye that will provide water. In this seasonal farm, this man can carry out, even there is another papyrus swamp here, man can carry out fish farming in the seasonal swamp or in the papyrus swamp. You put there ponds, dams, and you do fish farming. And after identify, this is how man is utilizing natural resources. These hills here, how can man use these hills? He can use these hills by carrying out stone quarrying to extract stones to sell. He earns money to improve his standard of living. And which hill can he use? You give the name of the hill. Maple use, which is maple application. If the area has got woodland, what can man do with the woodland? Because they are saying how man can utilize the natural vegetation. In the woodland, we know man can do beekeeping, apiary, apiculture. Because of the woodland, name, give us the direction, the location where that woodland is found. That is how you are supposed to answer a question of that nature. Either it is going to be how man can utilize the natural resources in the area, how he is going to use the hills, the broad valleys, the gentle slopes, how he can use the craters, how he can use natural vegetation in the form of stone quarrying or mining of stones on hills like Kakoge Hill. Irrigation farming using water from rivers like Chibuye River. Irrigation farming is an economic activity. What is the evidence, the proof that he can do irrigation farming? The rivers. Do you see any river in the area? Yes, I'm seeing Chibuye River and it will provide water. Fish farming is an economic activity. What can he do? Why do you say that he can carry out fish farming? There are seasonal swamps. Do you see any seasonal swamp? Yes, Kasiri seasonal swamp. CK, CU, AP. CK, fish farming. CU, seasonal swamp. AP, application on the map, using the map, Kasiri swamp. herbal medicine making due to woodland or forest at Wankembo or Kakondi. Herbal medicine making, Sike, woodland, or if you have used the forest, CU, where is it located? Wakembo. You are getting it from the map. That is what we call mapo use. You are applying, because if you are not using the map, then you would not be knowing these local names. I want you to cover each and everything on map work, because this is a compulsory item and we know it is coming. So we go in the examination room when we know what is coming already. At this point, allow me switch to something to do with photograph for the purpose of coverage. What do we need to understand about photographic interpretation? Photographic interpretation we say that it provides item 2 which deals with utilization of natural resources. Possibly, Bwana Stephen, I can take on 2 questions if they are there, questions that are related to MAPO use. You can put up the hand if you have a concern, then I can give you chance. You ask your question, just 2 questions, then we run. I cannot teach each and everything at this time. I cannot teach each and everything. RSS, you are given the chance to unmute and ask. RSS, I think put up the hand but doesn't even know that is the one supposed to ask. Okay. Chiyuya Seed from Masindi, you have chance. Is also not there. Smag from Germany, I've given you the right to unmute and can you ask in the interest of time?
It's okay, assuming the question is asking you to draw a state map of maybe Nakasongola sowing the natural resources area. Are you going to include since it's not a physical resources and like
Excuse me, you are very far from the laptop. I don't know whether you are using. Move closer such that we can hear you.
it's okay. I say
Uh-huh.
that assuming the question is asking you to draw a sketch map of maybe Nakasongola sowing the natural resources. Are you going to include roads since it's not a physical feature? And like in cross section, is it allowed for you to draw a cross section on a graph? And like when you are drawing a graph, are you allowed to use a pen? And in sketch map, are you supposed to draw 2 frames or 1? Thank you.
I want to respond that UNEB standard questions will not instruct you on what to draw. like the question that I've given you, the example that we have use, they will use draw a landscape sketch. Not even draw. They don't even tell you to draw. Just show. They tell you show. Show the features. But here you have said that if you are told to draw natural resources, are you supposed to mark the road? The road is not a natural resource. Road is human environment. And if it is human environment, it is not natural. It does not exist on its own. I've just given you natural resources in 3 categories. You are going to look at that map and you get to know senior 1 work. Lesson 1, teacher gave you the exercise of naming physical features where you say the hills, gentle slopes. That is a category of relief. Then natural vegetation. In map work, we use the key to interpret features. You don't say tropical or equatorial forest. No, it is a forest. A forest is a collection of trees covering an extensive area. So it is a forest. If it is papyrus vegetation or scrub. Don't give the general savanna vegetation. No, those ones. Look at the key. Get the answers of natural vegetation from there. Then water bodies. Water bodies are natural. And they exist on their own. A permanent swamp exists. So, in simple terms, don't put the human environment or man-made features if they have told you to mark, to show, to indicate the natural resources or the physical resources or the physical environment. Only show categories, relief, natural vegetation, and water bodies. 2, if you are drawing a sketch map, am I supposed to draw 2 frames? No, draw only 1. You only draw this one here. We call it a bold line, while this one we call it a neat line. Just draw the frame, this one only. It is enough, and you put a compass rose outside. You write the title at the top here, how we agreed. You draw a compass rose. The key will be at the bottom, and these features must be marked and labeled directly on the map, because the key only interprets features as shown on the map. When you are drawing a cross section, do you provide a key? No, first of all, do you provide, are you supposed to draw on a graph paper? Yes, yes, yes. Draw a cross section on a graph paper on a scale of 1 centimeter vertical. Each 1 centimeter vertical should represent, as I told you, I advise you that use the vertical interval. Like, for example, if the map, the difference between the 2 contours, the vertical interval is 50, then you are going to make sure that each centimeter has a difference of 50. NB, thank you, young lady, for asking. You have reminded me about something. A cross section does not start from 0. No. Don't put 0 where the x-axis meets the y-axis or the vertical scale meets the horizontal scale. No. You are supposed to lower from the lowest contour. You lower by the vertical interval. If your lowest contour between the 2 points, like for example, you are drawing from here up to here, and the contours in between here, the lowest contour is 1,500, but the vertical interval is 50. Then you are going to get 1,500, which is the lowest contour, subtract 50. You get 1,450. So where at this point where the vertical line starts and the horizontal line where they meet here, you are going to put 1,450. Next centimeter, 1,500. Next centimeter, just like that. Then you shade. It must be drawn on a graph paper. She asked, I wanted 2 questions. She asked 3 questions. But still, I can take on only one, then we move to another one. St. Catherine. St. Catherine. St. Catherine is not there. We have Vuembe. Vuembe, you have the right to unmute and ask. Vuembe. Vuembe is quiet. We have Omoro SS from Alibaton. Omoro, you ask. Omoro is not there. The last one. St. Elizabeth Girls from Mitiana. St. Elizabeth from Mitiana, you can ask. Elizabeth. We have Peaches. Okay. We can, I think, continue. Some people are putting up their hands, but they are not asking. We can move to photographic interpretation. I will take on the questions after. What we need to understand from photograph skills? You need to know the type of the photograph. Why do we need to know the type of the photograph? It helps us to know the parts of the photograph, because different types of photographs have different parts to help us locate features. 2, we need to understand how to interpret physical features. There is no difference between physical features of the photograph and physical features of the map. The only difference is that on a map, they are represented by symbols, while on the photograph, they are represented by pictures. We have the land uses and economic activities. We have land uses and economic activities. Economic activities are things which man does to earn a living. It's not automatic that every economic activity will be a land use. And not all land uses, when we talk of land uses, we are looking at how man is using land. It does not mean that whatever man does on land is an economic activity. Then you need to understand the relationships. The relationship between the physical environment and the land uses. The relationship between the physical environment and the human environment. Human environment is made up of man, while the physical environment exists on its own. How do they relate? Then you need to understand how to sketch, how to draw an illustration of the area. While we say that landscape sketch can mean a map or a cross-section in map work, map skills, on photograph, we are drawing pictures because it is a photograph, something which is represented, seen from above. However, there are different types of photographs. There are 2 types of photographs, what we call aerial photographs and ground photographs. And when we define senior 1 work, when we're defining a map, we say it is a representation of an object as seen and drawn from above. So symbols are used. Now we can have a photograph which can be taken from above, what we call the aerial photograph. That means that photograph, if it is taken from above, it is a map of a photograph. We need also to be able to identify the problems faced by the people. and the effects of the human activities on the physical environment. Remember, these aspects here deal with element of construct 2, and the element of construct 2 is coming from wildlife conservation and tourism, a photograph about fishing or water resources, a photograph about mining and mining methods, a photograph about manufacturing industries. Remember that fishing, mining, these are what? Primary industries. Manufacturing industries are secondary industries. We need to understand and interpret forests, forestry, and forest conservation. The photograph rotates around here. So what do we need to do? We are given, for example, after knowing what we are supposed to cover, you can be given a photograph like that one. This photograph is good. I always use it because it gives a lot of information. In this photograph, you come to realize that it has got different features. There is a feature there. Actually, there are 2-3 features behind here. There is a feature here. There is another feature. Other features are here. This one is a feature. It is there. There are features here and there are features here. Now, when you look at this photograph, immediately you get a question paper. The beauty is that our photographs lately are colored the way this one is. The first thing you do, you read the scenario. Read the scenario and understand. What is it about? Remember that the scenario will tell you the chapter from which the photograph has been picked. The photograph, the scenario, will tell you what the topic from which the photograph has been picked. As you read the scenario, you will see either it is on fishing, it is on wildlife conservation, it will show you. Now, when you get this photograph here, you need to understand which type of photograph is this. If this is a photograph and you interpret that this is a ground horizontal photograph, you divide it into 3 9 parts. Get a ruler. Remember, there is this part here, which is the part of the sky that appears to be touching the ground behind. So this sky is not land. For us, we are interested in the land only. So the land stops at this point. The land this side stops at this point. So when you are dividing, divide from here up to here, and from here up to here. Behind is the skyline, what we call the horizon. So you are going to come, get a ruler, draw a line there. Get a ruler, draw a line there, such that you have what we call the foreground, the middle ground, and the background. Get a ruler and a pencil, draw a line there. Get a ruler and pencil, draw a line there. When you do that, you end up dividing this photograph into 9 parts. Right foreground, right middle ground, right background. Center, middle ground, center, middle ground, center, background. Left, foreground, left, middle ground, left, background. When you do that, those parts of the photograph, just excuse me, let me connect my. Sorry for that, and thank you for for giving me the chance. So if you do that, you have divided the features into different parts and locations. Whatever you write about the photograph, it must come with an evidence and location of that evidence. For example, this road here is in the right foreground. We have the settlement. This settlement here is in the left middle ground. We have this highland here. It is in the background. It is having steep slopes. This steep slope here is in the right background. Whatever you mention should come with an evidence from the map. So last year they said, describe the scenes in the photograph. A scene is a feature, is a happening. What is happening in the photograph? Now, when you look at this, you will see the different scenes. The road, the grass, the house, electric pole, the tree, the terraces. We have the farmland here. We have matoke. We have a forest here. We have a hill. We have a communication mass. You put them in their relative position. Equally, this photograph will come with the task saying illustrate or show. Once you see a question telling you illustrate, you are going to draw. If they say show, you can show verbally without the word illustrate. You can show verbally. For example, there is a road in the right foreground. There is a hill in the left middle ground. I am showing, but I have not illustrated. Another person can show by illustrating. The two, both of them are correct. Remember, part A is going to be telling us to deal with map photograph skills. Do you have the skill of interpreting features on a photograph? Then the second one, part B, will be on map photograph. Use how to use this photograph. Let us look at the second one. This one here is a photograph showing wildlife conservation. And which type of photograph is this? One person will say, this is a ground oblique photograph. Like someone was standing on the top of the car and took the picture. That is why these elephants appear bigger and clearer in the foreground here. This shrub here, this thicket, these are trees, scattered trees. This is grass. And this photograph, therefore, comes from wildlife conservation and tourism. Consequently, they can tell you the activities in part B, the activities, the tourism activities that can be carried out in the photograph. Here we are having game, for example, game drive can take place. Because of the trees, we can have nature walk. I mean, you have covered this with your teachers. So most importantly, you are going also to divide this photograph from here up to here, that is the land. From here up to here, that is the land. This is skyline. Can't see that. So foreground, middle ground, background. Then vertically, whatever you mention on the photograph should come with the location. There is this photograph here. This is what we call an aerial vertical photograph. And this photograph here, when you look at it, it is having different features. For example, when you see this part which appears black but smooth, this is a water body. When you look at this part here, this is a forest, rough, but trees are only being seen from above. Even this is a tree. When you look at this line here, this is what we call is a road. When you look at this part, these are buildings. This is a building, this is a building, this is a building, this is a building. The whole of this is covered with buildings. There is a factory here. Then, if this is a water body and this is also part of the water body, there is this piece of land which we call a headland, and this one becomes a bay. We are having settlements here. You can see this part here. It is punched dark gray. There is farmland here. Therefore, when you are given such a photograph, that is why I told you that identification with the type of the photograph is very important, because it will give you the different parts. While we are having foreground, middle ground, and background, when it comes to this part here, the top part here becomes here it becomes top part of the photograph. This one becomes bottom, and this one becomes middle. Then you are also again going to divide it into 3, such that you have the 9 parts. This is the right bottom. This is the lefty bottom. This is the center bottom. While this one becomes the middle top, the lefty top, and the righty top. While this one, this part here, is becoming center middle of the photograph. This is an aerial, therefore it has got different parts. So when you look at this photograph here, they can still ask you how man can utilize or can conserve the natural resources. How man can conserve. Now, they are telling you, explain the measures, the steps, make a write-up. Make a write-up on how the government or people or the local government can conserve the natural resources. And we are seeing the natural resources here as what? Wild animals and the natural vegetation. This is a component we call the biosphere, the fauna and flora. How can man, what can the government do? You make a write-up. I can give one. With that one, it must run through 3 levels. For example, sensitization of the local community people about the dangers of poaching or the importance of wildlife conservation. When you sensitize people, you are teaching them the importance of conserving wildlife, and that will protect illegal hunting, which is poaching. It is going to defend, to protect these wild animals, because there are some primitive societies and people who look at these elephants as what? As a source of food. For them, they will come and kill them, forgetting that they are destroying. Electric fencing or fencing using electric wires, you are conserving to protect the wild animals or the elephants against escaping. That is what you are supposed to do. The relationship here is that these wild animals, the vegetation is a habitat of the wild animals, the elephants, but the wild animals are feeding on the what? On the vegetation. That is what we call ecology, the ecosystem. There is symbiosis. They depend on each other. They can still ask you, they can ask you to explain the problems, giving evidence from the photograph. What are the problems that are likely to face the land use activity? Here, land use is wildlife conservation. And that land use is still an economic activity. I told you that economic activity, what man does to earn a living and how he's using land. There is a statement that that is easy to understand and interpret, but difficult again. All women are wives, and all wives are women. That statement sounds, there are two statements. All women are wives, and all wives are women. It is not true that all women are wives. We have nuns. They are women, but they are not wives by the religious calling. And not every woman is married. For one to be a wife, must be married. But all wives, it is true, are women. There is no wife who is not a woman. So not all economic activities are land uses, but some land uses are economic activities, and some economic activities are land uses. For example, fishing is an economic activity, but it is not a land use, because fishing takes place in water. But we have a land use which is fish farming. Man can do fish farming on land, in the swamps which are on land there, because man digs the dams, the valley dams, or the fish where he's going to the fish ponds where he's going to rear the fish from. So it is a land use. Man is using land for fish farming, but at the same time, he's doing an economic activity. So you need to be very careful when they tell you an economic activity and a land use activity. Settlement is a land use, but it is not an economic activity. So if they tell you, explain the activities, explain the steps that can be taken to conserve the land use activity. The land use activity here is wildlife conservation, is the major. While the economic activity will be tourism. Steps that can be taken to promote tourism, or the economic activity taking place in the photograph. The measures for wildlife conservation are the measures that can be used or undertaken to promote tourism. Still, under photographic interpretation, you need, if they tell you, draw a landscape sketch of the area, illustrate the area shown on the photograph, using information in the support, the information in the scenario and in the photograph, and the scenario is here. For example, you were given a holiday project to use a field work study to come up with a report on how the physical environment determines sustainable utilization of natural resources in the area of study. To collect information from the field, you used several methods such as observation, interview of the residents of the area of study, and you also took photographs. While in the field, you found out that people had put different parts of the area to different land uses. However, the people living in the area could not explain to you why the different activities were located where they are, and simply said it was by choice as shown in the photograph. This is the photograph. People don't know why those things are there. And they are telling you, illustrate the area shown and mark the physical environment and the natural environment. The physical environment, flat land is here. There is grass here. Settlements. Human, that is the physical environment, the human environment. We are having a road. We are having settlements. We are having farmland. We are having forestry. We are having terraces. We are having communication mass. That is human environment. The physical environment, we are having flat land here, gentle slope. We are having the steep slopes. We are having the highland. We are having the hill. We are having the forest. The trees are here. That is the physical environment. So you are supposed to identify the way we did in map work. While we are having, when we are in photograph, we are having highlands, hills, ridges, steep slopes, gentle slopes, flat land. And if they say show the features, describe the scenes. When you give the feature, you must tell us where that feature is found. Gentle slope in the right foreground. Flat topped hill in the middle of the right middle ground. You are going to have gentle slopes of the hill. This hill, this one is a highland, is a mountain, while this one is a hill. And therefore, you are going to say steep slopes in the right background. Highland in the background, because it is stretching from the left up to the right, covering the whole background, is a highland. So that is what we call photograph skills. You must use the photograph and locate every feature you give. It comes with its location. Which location is part of the photograph? I get back to you to take on some few questions on photographic interpretation. I kindly request that you lower your hands such that I pick on people who are having questions. When you just put up the hand and you keep it there, I give you the chance, you keep quiet. We fail, we deny people who have questions the opportunity to do what? To ask. I kindly request, if you don't have the question, then you lower your hand. I get you. Oh, now, when it comes to naming of your gadgets, kindly name properly your gadget, because help is the program that hosts us. So when you say help, I don't think that our host has a question to do what? To ask. So it is much better. It is much better you name your gadget using your school or your name, the name of your school or your name. Saint Catherine has had the name, the hand up for some time. I even gave. Okay, St. Henry's High School, Kalangala, has lowered. That one has gone. We have Kapchorwa Muslim. You are given the chance. Kapchorwa Muslim, if you have a question.
Okay, sir. Well, like you said, we name the features inside the skate map, and we also name them using the key, because the key shows us what the map is all about. So is there a need to name in both of them?
Yes, I said, let me first answer that, then we move on to another person. When you are drawing a sketch map, you are using symbols, and the features have got local names. So you will put the local name direct. If there is a hill known as Kapchorwa Hill on the map, you are going to put the symbols, the contours, and you name it Kapchorwa Hill. When you go to the key, you only put a symbol of a hill and you show that it is a hill. You don't again go to the key and you say Kapchorwa Hill, because you may be having different types of hills on the map. You have named the Kapchorwa Hill, you have named the Buko Hill, you have named the Mbari Hill on the map. But when you come to the key, it is only a symbol and you show that that is it. That symbol shows what? The hills. Now, while we are using symbols on the map, on the photograph, ground photographs, you draw a picture of a tree and you write on it tree. If it is a house, you draw a picture of a house and you write there a house. The land use where you are seeing a house, the land use becomes what? Settlement. I can take on another school, Chinyara SS. Chinyara, you are given a chance to ask.
Yes, master. I'm like, if you draw the photograph now, the sketch map, if you draw the sketch map of the photograph, do we keep the line or we rub the line off?
Thank you.
We are also
When
requesting
it
to illustrate how a cross-section is drawn.
okay. Now let us be patient. I answer that question. Now, if it is a photograph, the only sketch map of a photograph, if you are given this photograph here, what we call an aerial photograph, if it is this one, and they tell you draw a landscape sketch, illustrate the landscape, this one is going to be a landscape sketch of the area of the photograph. Because it is a ground photograph and pictures, images are being reflected in form of what? Pictures. But when it comes to this one, this is an aerial photograph. It is seen from above. We don't draw pictures on the aerial photograph. And therefore, the title is going to be a sketch map of the area of the photograph. Because features, we are going to draw symbols here, not pictures. Because features were seen from above. 2, when you draw the frame of this photograph, you don't remove. Gentlemen, thank you for asking. There are people who do not draw the frame. What are the requirements of a good photograph? It must have a title. It must have a similar frame. After drawing, you don't erase. You don't rub the frame. It must be there. 3, features must be marked and labeled directly, either by symbols if it is an aerial photograph like this, or by pictures if it is a ground photograph like this. But if it is in map work, there is nowhere we are drawing what? Pictures. In map work, we are drawing, marking and naming using similar symbols as on the key of the map extract. Symbols. And when you have drawn this symbol on that, on this papyrus stamp, it is known as Nabajuzi. You write there Nabajuzi papyrus stamp. This one here, it is having Nakaiba papyrus swamp. On the map, we are putting the name of the feature, Nakaiba papyrus swamp, Nabajuzi papyrus swamp. Both have got the same symbol. When you go to the key, you only put the symbol and you say it is papyrus swamp, such that when I come here, I will know that this is Nakaiba papyrus swamp, this is it, Nabajuzi papyrus swamp. You can also have another papyrus swamp here. Hope I have answered you.
Could you please repeat the question possibly if I have not answered?
Yes, or like the lines you draw on the photograph, do you erase them or you don't? The ones
Which
in the frame.
lines in the frame? Now,
Yes.
okay. Now, the lines, the demarcations you're drawing are on the question paper. Those draw the lines demarcating the different parts of the photograph on the question paper, on the photograph of the question paper, such that you get to know that this part here is the right foreground, the middle of the middle ground. Just to guide you, when you are drawing your landscape sketch of the photograph, you don't need to draw those lines there. You only draw the frame and you put the feature. Remember, you have drawn on the question paper, so you can mark the feature properly looking at what you have drawn. You can mark it in its relative position. So don't draw those lines on the landscape sketch that you will be drawing. If you have used them to mark the features, thereafter erase them. If you have drawn, when you are drawing, illustrating your landscape, after drawing and marking the features, get an eraser, a rubber, and clear them. You remain with the features there, marked and labeled. Are we on the same page?
Yes, sir. We also have another question.
Go ahead.
Well, like, can you illustrate for us the cross section?
A cross section.
Yes.
You want an illustration?
Yes.
Okay. I do not have a slide that is free, but I am going to use any. Let me use this page here. Assuming this is my paper and I am drawing a cross section. I will get my ruler. I don't mind about the lines, for you are using a ruler. I have drawn that one. You are using a ruler and they are straight. This from here up to here is 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter. I am plotting my vertical line here. I put here 150. Don't mind about my figures. 1,500. I put here. My vertical interval is, for example, is 100. If it is 100 and my lowest contour is 1,500, I am going to lower it. Then this one is going to be 1,400, such that my next one is 1,500. My next one will be 1,600. What I write this way, I also write it this way. I said that don't put here 0. No. Now after I marked all my contours on the paper, on this graph paper, I have a contour there. I have marked a contour there. There is another contour, a contour. At that point, I have a contour there. I have another one at that point. I have another one at that point. I have another one. So I get a pencil. I join these contours. I join the contours. Oh, sorry. Just a moment. Just a moment. I get my ruler, with a free hand. I am drawing using a free hand. When I have done that, I must shade. I shade. Because it is a must. I said that this horizontal distance, I will indicate, for example, I write here
10 kilometer. I interpret here that this information is height in feet. Height in feet. What I write on the left, I also write it on the right. Then I am going to use now a ruler. They told me I should mark and name the physical environment. This one is a hill. I write, if this hill has got a name, Kapchorwa. I write there, Kapchorwa what? Kapchorwa Hill. I have written Kapchorwa Hill. This one, I am going to use a curly bracket and show that from there up to there, oh, sorry. This is what? A flat land. I write a flat land there. If then the gap between the two hills, this is what we call a saddle. Then I say that this one here is a saddle. This side here, I am going to call to say that this is what? This is a steep slope. If there is a road around here, I use an arrow. I point up to that point where the road is, and I write here low surface road. Can you ask in relation to that?
Yes, the last question. But it's not in relation to the cross section. This one is
Okay.
about the title of the sketch map. You say that
The title of
you say that the sketch map of the area of Nakasongola showing. Then maybe you continue. Then I'm like, what if you don't include of the area and you just say a sketch map of Nakasongola showing the required things?
you in the thing, you will be very right. There is no problem. Any other person? We can take on after asking. You lower your hand such that I get Act High School. Act High School. Act. Your microphone is open.
Yeah, we're asking how can we describe the scene in the photograph?
How
like the
can
one
we?
with human being?
How can we?
How can you describe the scene? Like the one you've shown us with the mountain behind that has human beings.
The scene.
Yes.
I said that when they tell you describe the scene, it is as simple. It is as simple as let me erase this slide first. So what is a scene? A scene is a happening. A scene is a situation. A scene is a thing. When you are fighting, that we shall say it is a scene. When the lake is there, we say there is a scene. So they are asking you, describe the scene, describe the things you are seeing. You mention the things you are seeing, and when you are mentioning the things you are seeing, you must tell us where you are seeing them, because this photograph is wide and we can only describe the scenes, the things. In this photograph, we are seeing things made by man, things made by God. The things made by man, we are seeing a road. Where is the road? in the right foreground. We are seeing things made by man. For example, a plantation matoke, where in
Do we
the
include
right.
people?
Sorry?
Auntie, what the- no, 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 no.
Are you talking to me?
We were asking, do we include people when you're describing the scene?
Do you include people? What are you seeing?
Yes.
Mention everything that you're seeing. This is a scene. These people here. I am
Give
seeing
us
people
an
here.
example of how you describe them.
When you are describing,
Give us an example of how you describe.
describing people,
Yeah,
at
the
this
scene.
point here, you are going to say people. People. Where are you seeing people in the photograph? I am seeing which part of the photograph is this? From the road in the right foreground, I am also seeing people in the right foreground. That is a scene. Even if it is rubbish, it is a scene. Even if they are bodies, it is a scene. Talk about each and everything you are seeing in the photograph. If there is a car, it is a scene. And we are talking of scene, not scene. Scene, C-E-N-E. That is a scene, a situation. It can be a garden. You are going to tell us there is a garden. Where is that garden? Or a plantation in the right middle ground, in the center middle ground. This is a scene. This tree is a scene. A tree in the middle, in the center of the middle ground. The steep slopes in the middle of the background, in the middle, in the right background. There is a highland in the background. I mean, the highland is covering the whole background from right to left. You are describing the scene. So, description of the scene, even if it is a fence, it is a scene. If you see a borehole, any feature in the photograph is a scene. But the question can be, describe the landscape, describe the relief of the area. There you don't talk about each and everything. You are only, the examiner is only looking at the relief of the area, not the whole thing. I need to take on another person and we move to.
First wait. What?
Okay, let me wait.
We are requesting to first go back on item 1. We never got a chance to ask. We wanted to know how to identify a broad valley and a lowland and to draw them on a sketch.
A broad valley and
How to
a
draw a
lowland.
broad valley and a lowland on a sketch map.
Now, first of all, you need to know how to identify a lowland. What is a lowland? On a map, how do we tell that this is a lowland? Allow me use this very slide to show you what it means by a lowland. You have a contour here. You have another contour here. This contour is, for example, 3,000. Just allow the way I write. In the interest of time, I cannot type to have nice figures, words, and letters. You have 3,000 and you have 3,000. These are contours. The whole of this area here, in between here, becomes a lowland. More evident if there is a seasonal swamp here. There is a seasonal swamp here. A seasonal swamp occupies a low land. Therefore, on this map here, I can tell you that wherever you see a seasonal swamp is a lowland. The whole of this is a lowland. The whole of this is a lowland. The whole of that is why water is stagnating there after a drizzle or after the rain. That is how we identify a lowland. What about a broad valley? Now, you have a hill in pictorial form. You have a hill, a flat land is there, then you have another hill. In map work, you are going to have a hill here, then you will have another hill here. These hills are independent, they are separate. So this space here becomes what? A lowland. A broad valley rather. And it is more evident if there is a papyrus swamp here, in between here. You are going to have a broad valley. Now, if we had a hill here, a hill, that is a hill, then another hilltop here, then we have a contour joining these two hills, or contours joining these two hills like this. The whole of this becomes a ridge, while this one becomes a saddle or a col. It is no longer a broad valley. It becomes a relief feature known as a saddle. Hope I have helped you. So this is a hill here. This is a hill. This is a hilltop. Now, here is a lowland. While here I will call this one a broad valley because that is where the papyrus swamp is. When I come to, I need to first of all erase this writing such that I get another map.
Thank you, sir.
You are welcome if I have helped you to understand something. So, assuming you were given this map of Masaka, the whole of this area here, where you are seeing a papyrus swamp, this is a broad valley. This is land. This is land, dry land. This is dry land. This is a broad valley. Now, where you see the seasonal swamp, a seasonal swamp is a drainage feature, which is occupying the land which we call a lowland. This water here can dry after the rain or during the dry season. But here, this one is a permanent swamp. It hardly dries. That is why there is water-loving plant known as papyrus. So this is a broad valley, and on this broad valley, on this piece of land, there is a knoll isolated hill here. There is a hill, an elongated hill here. Another question. Another question. It can come from the very last question can come from Atira seed. Atira seed. You can unmute and ask.
Hello.
You're not there.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Sir. What if
You are speaking yourself, just speak loudly.
Hello.
Yes, please. I'm listening.
I'm like,
Oh, yes, please.
when you are drawing a sketch map, are we going to put a compass direction?
I think that is your question. And I don't know whether you joined late. That is where I started from. You have an accurate title, a similar frame, a compass rose. A key is a must. And the compass rose, which is the compass direction, is put outside the frame, not inside the frame. Another person?
We are together.
Okay, you're welcome. Another person, we can look at Christ the King High School, where you can unmute and ask. That one is not there. Bubulo Girls High School. Bubulo Girls, you can ask. Oh, they have lowered the hand. Okay. I can get to... I am looking for... Please, if you make sure you keep your microphone mute. We are getting the feedback. Can we Jungo S.4 Wakiso? You can ask. Jungo cannot. Jungo?
Good evening, sir. Our question is,
Yes,
in
please.
relationship with the map, we are asking that how can we obtain a six-figure grid? If you can assist us.
Six-figure grid?
Yes.
But interact with me in the first place. Do you know how to get a four-figure, what we call a grid square?
Yes, sir, of course.
Oh, if you know, then it is okay. So it is simple. When we are dealing with map work, grid reference reading is the key and the first one. And we have two types of lines. We have the eastings. This one's here. They are the eastings. Then we have the northings. Now, when we are reading, the condition is you first read the eastings, then you read the northings. Now, from one grid line to the next grid line is 1 kilometer. There is some simple mathematics here. 1 kilometer mathematically is made up of 1,000 meters. But then we are supposed to use this linear scale. Look at this scale here. We have two scales of late. We have a scale, the first one, and the second one. I'm drawing your attention to the second one, which has got kilometers and meters. This is what we call a linear scale, and it helps us to get distance on the map. Now, on this linear scale, the first one is in miles. Leave that one. There is this small one here. It has these units here from 0 to meters. There are 10 units from here, from 0 up to 1,000 meters. It is the same distance from 0 up to 1 kilometer. The relationship is that 1,000 meters make up 1 kilometer, and the distance from 0 to 1 is the same distance between two grid lines, eastings and northings. And therefore, if the distance from one grid line to the next grid line eastings is 1 kilometer, and from one grid line to the next grid line, northing, is 1 kilometer. Then, since these are grid lines, they form what we call grid squares. And therefore, from one grid line to the next grid line, there are 10 units. This is black. You can see the black, white. So each unit there, they are the units in between here, the distance here. So from easting 30, from easting 30, when you are moving to easting 31, there are 10 units. So if you are reading and you want to get four figure, there is this northing which is 50, there is this northing which is 30. Now when I say 3050, you come at this point, I am referring to this grid square. 3050, you come to this square. In mathematics, we have something called intersection, where the northings intersect with the easting. It gives you a square, a grid square. Now, if there is something in the middle here, in the middle of this grid square, to get the 6 figure, I know from 30 to 31, there are 10 units. I will say it is in the middle, exactly in the middle. I will say 305. Then those are 3 digits. Then I move, because it is in the middle here, I am moving northwards 505. Where they intersect, that will be the location, and that will be what we call the 6-figure grid reference.
Thank you, sir. That understood. The other question is, can you please help us with the procedures or steps that we can take while creating or while drawing that sketch map? And the other is the last one. Yes.
When you are drawing the sketch map?
Yes.
In the interest, my brother, my son, I would request, because it is 6:33 and some of us, we are in boarding, I would love to continue and be with you. It is almost 6:30 and we must go for supper. And so let me give you briefly what to do. When you are given, you are told to draw a landscape, to illustrate. UNEB will not tell you draw. That is one thing that I'm sure of. They will use the words that I gave you. They will tell you illustrate or show. When they tell you show the landscape, remember that this is map work. And they say show the landscape or show the physical features, show the physical environment of the area. Showing the physical environment, they have told you draw. Indicate, illustrate the physical environment of the area. As short as that. Indicate or illustrate the physical environment. Physical environment is made up of 3 components. We said it can be natural vegetation, it can be relief, it can be drainage. So you are going to draw a sketch map. And what is the first thing? You write a title on a foolscap. I recommend that when you are drawing a sketch map, draw it on a fresh page. 1, write an accurate title. I guided you on how to write an accurate title. 2, look at the shape of the draw a frame of a square. And when you are drawing a frame taking a shape of a square, you make sure that the pencil brings out the 4 sides. You draw this line, draw that one, draw this one, draw this one. Bringing out the shape of a square. That is the frame. outside here, outside the frame, draw a compass rose, a compass direction. These are the procedures. That one is teaching us that we know the qualities of a good map. Then at the bottom, down below the frame, you write there the key. You are going to interpret your symbols from there. Then you come, look at the key of the map. They are telling me to illustrate the physical environment. The physical environment, I should have at least relief features. 3, I should have drainage features. 3, I should have natural vegetation. 3. Now, under relief, what makes up relief? A hill, a broad valley, a lake basin, if the area has got a lake basin, a gentle slope, a knoll, all those ones. I request that you will have to get to the teacher to guide you more. Now, you mark and name them direct. Then from there, you go to natural vegetation, a forest, a thicket, a scrub, a woodland, you mark them. Then water bodies, permanent swamp, or a papyrus swamp, a seasonal swamp, a stream, you will have finished. Is there any other question that you wanted me possibly to talk about?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Like on cross section, do we apply a key?
A cross section has no key. Features are marked and labeled directly using arrows and curl brackets. Arua SS. Arua SS, you can ask. Arua is not. Arua? Oh dear, your network is. Yes, please.
My question is on how to draw a sketch map. Okay, can the same feature appear twice on the map while drawing the sketch map on a given area?
Like having which feature? Let us interact here. I understand and answer the question.
Like you have a thick forest on the other end of the map extract, and on the other grid reference, you also have a thick forest. Can you indicate both of them?
Now, when they tell you mark and name the physical environment, you don't need to have the same physical feature. Like you have 2 forests. It's not the only vegetation. You can have a forest, and another feature you mark a thicket, another feature you mark a scrub or woodland. Don't have 2 forests when there are other physical features or natural vegetation. Don't mark a hill when there are other relief features. Mark a hill, mark a steep slope, mark a knoll, mark a gentle slope, mark a broad valley, mark a saddle, a variety. You mix them. Not only one. Thank you. Kagadi People's Secondary. Kagadi is not there. Kagadi?
Yeah, there.
Okay, you can ask. We have no time, huh?
It's like on partitioning a photograph. You partition it on the equal. You bother to find the equal sides. If on partitioning it, you use the equal sides on the parts of the photograph.
Yes, I said that when you are partitioning, you are using a question paper to locate features in their actual places. So you are going to determine using, by the help of a ruler, we are dealing with the land from here. Our land is stopping at this point. Our land is stopping at this point. So you measure from here up to that point, from here up to that point, and divide it into 3 parts. The first part up to there, the second part, then you have this one. Remember that this photograph covers up to that point. But this is what? skyline, what we call the horizon. It is not land. For us, we are dealing with the land only. So don't consider the whole of it. Land is stopping here. Then equally, you get a ruler, measure from here, determine from here up to here, and also divide it into 3 at that point and at that point. This photograph, you will end up having 9 parts. 3 for the foreground, 3 for the middle ground, 3 for the background. Such that whenever you are mentioning anything about photograph, you take us where it is located. Hope I have helped you, Kagadi.
Thank you, sir.
We have a hand from Karo High School, Chiruhura. Karo High School. You are given a chance to ask. You're not there. Mugula SS. Mugula SS, you can ask.
Good evening, sir.
First lower the volume of your set such that we don't get the
question
feedback.
is that is it compulsory to always start stating your title with the A?
Is it compulsory to start stating your title with? I'm waiting for you to phrase your question. Oh dear, it's like we are not connecting. Is it compulsory to start phrasing your title with? We seem to have lost that one. Karo High School, you have unmuted your microphone. I don't know whether you still have interest in asking. Okay, that one is quiet. I thought I could do.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening to you.
Yes. Oh, thank you, sir. I wanted you to help me and describe for me the scene in the second photograph of wildlife conservation. Change. That one, sir. Connect.
So when you are given such a photograph, it is important for you to know the type of photograph because it helps you to tell the parts of the photograph. We said there are 2 types of photographs, a ground photograph and an aerial photograph. If it is a ground photograph, it is a photograph which is taken when the cameraman is standing on the ground, while the aerial photograph is taken when the cameraman is in air. It can be, we call them satellite images. Now, you have asked, I should describe the scenes in this photograph. In other words, what do you see in the photograph? I'm seeing elephants in the middle of the foreground. I'm seeing photographs. If I am not sure of these animals, I am going to say wild animals. It can also be a mixture of animals, wild animals. I don't commit myself to saying that the area has got elephants in the center middle ground, because it is a mixture. So I will call them wild animals. Then I come here. What is this? This is just a thicket or a shrub. I will say the area has got, and which part, whatever I mention, I go with what? With the part of the photograph. I'm supposed to give what I have seen and where I have seen. The where I have seen is the part of the photograph. The part of the photograph. Remember I told you that divide the photograph first. After reading the scenario, you read the task, you divide the photograph. That is for task A, which is photograph skills. So I am going to say a thicket, a shrub. Which part of the photograph? This, in the right middle ground. What is this here? This is a tree. The area has got a tree in the middle, in the center middle ground. If the area has got flat land, I talked of wild animals, I talked of thicket here, I'm talking of the tree, I'm talking of flat land. Where is it? The whole area is flat. I don't say in the photograph, no. In the foreground, in the middle ground. So go on to identify the different features and where they are found. Don't repeat. Don't say the area has got flat land in the foreground. The area has got flat land in the middle ground. Still, that is flat land, but just in different parts. Time is not on our side. I don't know whether I have helped you. If I have, glory be to God. Power in Christ High School. What is your question? I cannot start on another item in the interest of time, but I can take on the questions such that we exhaust these ones in the remaining 5 minutes and we end this call. Power High School. Power is not asking. Arua, you had asked. Wiggins, I don't know whether it is a school or just a... Wiggins, you have a right? It's not there. Okello Francis. It's not there. San Gaviano School. San Giovanni School. Yes. You have unmuted. Please ask.
So I would like to know how a candidate is able to describe a photograph, to know that this is a ground horizontal or an oblique or a vertical photograph.
When you look at that photograph, features now to understand the type of photograph, you look at the characteristics of the photograph. And when you look at this, features in the foreground appear bigger and clearer.
You can see the road properly. You can see this is a woman, this is a man. You can see this is a house, this is grass. Features appear on one side. You can see this woman is moving, this one is moving. Different side. You can see the horizon, the part of the sky that is touching the what? The ground. It is an indicator. It is an indicator of a ground photograph. So you are going to use the perspective. Here, features are very clear. But when it comes to aerial photographs, when you look at these photographs, features are blurry. What does that mean? Features are faint. They are greatly reduced in size and height. You can't tell that this is a building. This is a building here. You can't tell exactly that this is a house. You can imagine this thing that is appears like a stone is a tree. This one, which appears black but smooth, is a water body. So you use the features. If it appears like this and it's very hard to interpret, it means that the camera was up, seeing features by their tops only. That is the way we interpret aerial and ground photographs. But if it is given with your curriculum, definitely it will be colored. And so it will be very easy for you to identify features.
Okay, sir, but there's somewhere.
Yes, please.
There's somewhere I didn't get you clearly on the cross section. So we'd like you to explain to us whether the scale you use, if you use the vertical interval, whether it's right to use it, or if you can even use the values of the contours to determine the real scale. So I would like to explain to us that.
At our level, for O level senior 4, use the vertical interval as your vertical scale. Use the vertical interval of the contour. The vertical interval is the difference between two contours. So get that difference and use it as your vertical scale. And I said that you are going to draw on 1 centimeter from here. Here, if you are using 50 and this is the 1,100, 1,100, and my vertical interval is 50, then my vertical scale is also going to be 50. I mark this one as 1,000, 1,100, 1,150, 1,200, 1,250. So my scale, vertical scale, will be 1 centimeter represent 50 feet. 50 feet becomes my vertical scale. And at the same time, that 50 is my vertical interval.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Friends, I kindly beg that we end here. It is almost 7. We must catch up with prep, and some of us, we are walking back to our homes. Allow me end this session by wishing you a good evening and good luck in your education journey. Be well. Goodbye. Thank you.